Injuries play such a key role when it comes to postseason football that it ends up being what it feels like what most of us are talking about in the build-up to a big game. This San Francisco 49ers team is actually starting to get a little bit healthier. Not healthy enough to beat our Seattle Seahawks, but they are getting a little bit healthier. We're going to dive into the latest injury report due to the 49ers' last practice in today's video. This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we're going to be discussing a lot of injury news around the San Francisco 49ers and how it will affect them against the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday in this divisional round matchup. When we look at the key injuries for the San Francisco 49ers, there's about 5 players on this list that I want to dive into. First, of course, we're going to start with Trent Williams. What's going on with his hamstring? Ricky Pearsall is dealing with a knee injury, but he was potentially back at practice. What could that mean? I want to dive a little bit more into Fred Warner. I know the morning video talked about Seattle dodging a bullet. I got to talk more about what's going on with him. Dee Winters, of course, will he play in this game or will he not? And then while we already know that George Kittle will not play against the Seattle Seahawks with his torn Achilles, who will replace him in that tight end role, and how will that player really step up against the Seahawks, and how will the Seahawks have to defend him? But before we get into any of that, I need to let you know about the fastest growing channel here on Chat Sports. And that, of course, is Seahawks Today, or at least the fastest growing Seahawks channel here on Chat Sports. We are just 700 and some odd subscribers away, 600 and some odd subscribers away. My math is horrible. We're close to 8,000, we are close to 80,000 subscribers. Let's get there on today's video. Come on in, hit that sub button. We are closing in on being one of the biggest channels here at Chat Sports, so help us do so. First, let's talk about Trent Williams and the type of season that he has been having this year. When Williams has been out on the field, he's been masterful for the 49ers and what they want to do on the ground game. What has impressed me the most about Trent Williams is that the guy just seems to be an ageless wonder. He's having another fantastic season when he's back out on the field. Now, Williams did not play against the Seahawks in Week 18, and I think that played a role in how easy it was for the Seahawks defensive line to really get after Christian McCaffrey and this rushing attack for the 49ers, as well as get after Brock Purdy and not allow him to feel comfortable in this matchup or in that matchup. What I think is going to be most important for the Seahawks is to be able to get after Trent Williams if he's able to go and play in this game, and I believe that he will, especially since he played against the Eagles. Christian McCaffrey, crazy stat, has not had 60-plus yards in a game with the 49ers without Trent Williams there at that left tackle spot. So, if Christian McCaffrey was able to be held in check without Trent Williams, is there an opportunity for him to run buck wild? I don't think so. Seattle's done a great job of slowing him down. In fact, he hasn't even had over 100 yards on the ground against the Seahawks. But it is a key to note. CMC loves to run to the left side behind his big left tackle, and I do believe that Trent Williams will be ready to go and be active in this game. Next player we're going to look into is Ricky Pearsall and what is happening to his injury status. He's been dealing with a PCL injury in his knee that has kept him out of being able to play in a lot of games this season, including the last time the Seahawks played them in Week 18 and in the wild card round against the Eagles for the 49ers. Now, Pearsall was back out at practice, and that is important to note because he has not even been a limited participant in practice the last couple of weeks. So the fact that Ricky Pearsall is in a position where he can move himself to at least getting ready to potentially play in this game, the Seahawks have to be ready for all of that entails. Now, the wide receivers do not scare me with the San Francisco 49ers team, but I will tell you that they are a deeper bunch than we necessarily give them credit for. Be on the lookout for what Ricky Pearsall is doing and if he could potentially be back in this game, because it does feel like he's trending towards that way. Before we get into the rest of what's going on with the Seattle Seahawks and some of the injuries that the 49ers are facing, I do want to let you know about this insane deal that we've got going on right now over on chatsports.com /Seahawks shirt. Here is our Emerald City football t-shirt. The thing is freaking sweet. It was $35. It's now $17. What an incredible deal. It goes well with anything. Why? Because it's Seahawks colors. It's our favorite team. It's our favorite squad. Go over to chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt and pick yourself up one today. Chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. Sweet little deal. All right. Fred Warner, I already went into it this morning about how he's trying to practice and put himself in a position to play in the divisional round. And more importantly, it does seem like he's putting himself in a position to for sure play in the NFC Championship game if the 49ers were able to get there. I think we're at a position now where I can definitively say, and I can say with my chest, I do not expect Fred Warner to play in this game. I'm ready to stand on business. It feels like right now it's a 99% chance that he will not go. Now, does that mean that I could end up having egg on my face? Yeah, potentially. There's a possibility there. But what I will say about Warner and a lot of the news that's come out from a lot of the 49ers beat reporters and a lot of the 49ers coaches does make it feel like Warner is going to be done for this matchup. Now, he's still going to be an emotional leader. He's still going to be someone who is on the sidelines firing up the boys. And because he's put himself in a position to practice, you can definitely see a morale boost with the San Francisco 49ers players as they get ready to take on the Seahawks because they know, hey, we're just one win away from getting the captain back. And who knows? Sometimes that can get a team fired up. Seahawks got to find a way to make sure they snuff out any of that excitement. What is your reaction so far to the 49ers injury report? Are you worried that they're getting a little bit healthier or do you not care? Doesn't matter. The Seahawks are that dominant. The Seahawks are that good. They're going to come out and absolutely mollywop and stomp on the San Francisco 49ers. You let me know down below in the comments your initial feelings on that one. The next player we got to talk about is the leading tackler for the San Francisco 49ers, and that is Dee Winters. Really stepped up this year as a linebacker for this squad, and he's really done a good job, Dee Winters, that is, of understanding where he needs to have his most growth and where he can really step up and perform at a high level for this team. Winters was not able to go last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, so that is an important thing to talk about. When you look at his stats this year, Winters has done a great job of filling in for Fred Warner and playing alongside Kendricks and really not allowing this defense to slip back without their captain. What I've also seen Winters do a great job of is be a great cover guy, covering some different tight ends. Will he be able to lock up Elijah Arroyo? Will he be able to lock up A.J. Barner? Arroyo obviously still has to be announced as playing for the Seahawks, but A.J. Barner, would he be able to lock up one of those guys? I don't necessarily think so, but it is an important thing to kind of keep an eye on. If Winters is able to go, they clearly have a better linebacking core than they would have had against Philly. Last player we got to talk about, of course, is George Kittle. This was announced from ESPN's Adam Schefter over on Sunday. Hey, George Kittle, he did end up tearing his Achilles. He is officially done for the year. So that does make life a little bit easier for the Seattle Seahawks because, well, you don't have to go up against a future NFL Hall of Famer. That doesn't mean that his replacement is just some slappy. I'll tell you right now, Jake Tonges is a pretty darn good tight end for San Francisco. In fact, he ended up having the game-winning touchdown against the Seattle Seahawks in the very first matchup in NFL Week 1 this year. So Seattle has to figure out a way to slow down Tonges. It should be a little bit easier. You might not have to necessarily commit Nick Eamon-Worry the entire time to trying to shut down Tonges, but you will have to be aware of the position that he's in and finding a good way to stop what will now be the tight end number 1 for the San Francisco 49ers. How confident are you that the Seattle Seahawks will come away with a victory? Let me know down below in the comment section. Rank it 1 to 12. Do you think the Seahawks are going to come away with a big victory? Or do you think that the San Francisco 49ers might be a little bit more frisky than maybe we thought previously? I'll tell you right now, I'm a 12. I'm right now at a 12. I feel pretty darn confident. Thank you guys so much for viewing the video. Make sure that you come on in and hit that sub button. We're closing in on 80K. I want to get there before Dolphins today. Right now, they're just a couple hundred subscribers ahead of us. Show them and show the rest of Chat Sports what the power of this Seattle Seahawks channel can be. Come on in, hit that sub button. We've got you covered throughout the NFL postseason as well as throughout the year of 2026. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time.